How you doing, everyone? Welcome to the Keepin It Real Podcast. I am Colin Doyle, and with always is 50% of the hosting responsibilities, Ryan Espey. How you doing,
60,
Ryan?
60%.
Ryan brings the good looks, the brawn, the brain, and I'm here for the color commentary.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, man, there's so many things I was going to go through my head. It's like, I don't want to get canceled today.
Yeah.
No.
What are we on? Episode 11.
11, and we're back in person.
In person.
Last week
Thank
I was
God.
traveling and traveled till right at the end of the week. It was wild.
Yeah, you had a busy week.
Yeah.
A lot of back and forth.
From where I saw you last, I was in the Toronto airport, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I had not yet gone to the Sport Events Congress. That's where I spent the next few days.
How'd that go?
Back in Toronto, Mississauga, which is, those GTA cities are weirdly just clumped together.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a good event. Lots of cities, municipalities, groups trying to get the Canadian Arm Wrestling Federation to visit their community for our national championship.
Oh.
And, usual stuff. Some motivation, some keynotes.
Yeah.
Lots
of sales pitches.
Lots of vendor alley with swag and free stuff.
Yep. And so you're the president of the
Canadian Arm Wrestling Federation.
So you take these sales pitches back to a board of directors, or how does that work?
Not yet. So the pitches come and they will eventually lead to a bid, and the bid is decided on for the national championship at the AGM with the whole executive committee. Yeah. So will they turn into a bid? We'll find out. And we're all the way out to 2028 what we're accepting bids on, because this year's nationals are in Moncton. Following year is in Black Falls, Alberta.
Okay. And will you be attending Moncton?
It's mandatory for me to attend because the president has to be there as per our constitution.
The question would be, are you competing in Moncton?
I'm refereeing the entire thing.
Okay.
So I'm on board as a ref. I'm running the ref clinic. I'm chairing the AGM. I'm not competing. I haven't competed at nationals for a couple of years now. Not to say that I will never again, because I do plan to go to Worlds. The weird thing right now about Worlds is that you don't need to qualify. You can just go.
Oh, okay.
So I will go as a grandmaster.
Okay. And what does that mean?
It means I'll be competing in the over 50 class.
I knew exactly what that meant. I just wanted to hear you say it out loud. Okay. Age starting with a 5. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So while you were away, I think before we did the last podcast, you came up with the idea for today's podcast.
Yes. Before we get to that, though,
okay. Yes.
Yes. And I'm going to tell that story in its entirety because I've done a bit of a deeper dive on it. Now, I went to a Jets game last night, and I got to get something off my chest.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear it. They actually won against Colorado.
They actually won. And why do people need to be assholes if they're given the opportunity?
I know.
So I am done tiptoeing around people or being passive when things happen to me. It's just it's something that I do not tolerate anymore in my life. So when I'm in a lineup that is past 3 different food vendors from the washroom over.
I was going to say you were in the bathroom lineup.
I'm standing there for a meaningful amount of time. And as I get close to the front, some guy just kind of appears in front of me. So, me being me, I smack the guy on the shoulder and say, "Where did you come from? The end of this line is about 2 miles that way." And he's wearing an Avalanche jersey. Okay, here we go. And he's got his 2 buddies are talking to him. And the 2 buddies immediately, become uncomfortable. And I made it very clear that I don't care if you cut in line, but you're not doing it in front of me.
Yeah.
And he says, "I've been here like 2 minutes, buddy. Relax," he says. I'm like, okay, but he moved behind me, and that was kind of the end of it. But it was uncomfortable for a couple of minutes there. But I mean, that little weird stuff happens all the time, especially at live sports, whether it's food, bathroom lines, just being generally obnoxious and drunk.
Yep.
Um,
I don't really have the patience for it either.
No, I'm losing it in my advancing years, and my generation doesn't tolerate that nearly.
No, and doesn't do it.
No, we don't. No, I would.
No.
No, we don't do that. And if we do it, it's by accident.
Right.
Like, you know, I didn't know the line started back there. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my little bugaboo from last night.
But a big win, nevertheless.
But a big win, nevertheless.
They're still, I mean, we talked last week,
They're not
5
making
points
the
out.
playoffs. They're not making the playoffs. And if they do, it'll be a round one execution.
Mm-hmm. You never know.
I'm not paying for playoff tickets.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm not. They're going to tank, and they're going to get good draft picks, and they're going to be a contender next year or the year after. And that's what's going to happen. Let's not kid ourselves. But the Hellebuck from the Olympics at least showed up for once.
Mm-hmm.
So now they can put Comrie in, because they wouldn't be giving Hellebuck a break is a good idea after a win, not necessarily after he gets lit up.
Right.
Like second last game. But I mean, still, Hellebuck kept them in that game. Like, they were playing well and hard, but the shot count was not in favor of the Jets.
Right.
Not by a long shot.
Well, I'm going to make a bold prediction saying that they are going to squeak in. You're right. Probably a first round execution, but you know, they lost the game that they should have won against the Rangers, and they won the game they should have lost last night.
But they do that all the time.
No, I realize that. They always play up to the competition,
Yeah.
or down to the competition, which if you can get some consistency, you're probably more reflective of the team from last year.
Winnipeg has a great habit of making terrible teams look great and great teams look average.
Right.
Like this, it's the weirdest thing. It happens all the time. And they're playing arguably the best team in the league last night and just looked like they're unstoppable. Mostly because their goalie stood on his head. And the couple of guys were jumping in the net and actually making saves too.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting. I guess we'll see how it plays out.
We
So
shall.
I'm a yay for the playoffs this year. You're a nay.
I'm a nay. No, I'm a nay. And I don't want to spend thousands of dollars on hope.
Nope, that's fair. I mean, even though I'm a yay, if I was in your position, I wouldn't be spending the money either.
No. So let's talk about our subject of the day that we were going to bring up, because I was at this meeting and this all unfolded in real time at the Sport Events Congress.
Wow. Okay.
And I was sitting with representatives from the Niagara region.
Okay.
That region is going through what Manitoba went through not that many years ago, which was an amalgamation of municipalities.
Right.
So they had appointed a chairperson to oversee this. Well, let me tell you what happened, Colin.
So the theme today is crazy municipal. What would we call it? Crazy municipal stories from Canadian municipal politics.
Yes,
Okay.
and there's lots of them. There's so many of them.
We all know in politics there is no shortage of crazy stories, but today we'll be focusing on municipal Canadian stories.
Yeah, and I'm being told this by people that are in the know and know this person, and it's unfolding in real time.
Okay, I'm excited.
Okay. So this guy's name, I mean, this is not a secret. His name is Bob Gale. He's the regional chair. And this information was brought forward. So the Niagara Region Anti-Racism Association and Justice for Black Lives Niagara released documents reporting that Gale purchased a book. Okay. Now, I had seen other reports that said the Communist Party had released this information as well.
Okay.
And the details of this book. At a U.S. auction in 2010 for approximately $6,345 US with an authenticated signature in 2018. Well, before we get to what the book is, these associations,
Pretty good
I'm
idea
not,
now.
I'm not, yeah. These groups demanded a public explanation and apology, questioning why a high-ranking public official would acquire and authenticate Nazi memorabilia.
Wow.
This was so. This was a copy of Mein Kampf with Adolf Hitler's autograph,
Wow.
and this came to light. So Gail resigned on March 11th, which was what was that? A few days
Last
ago.
week. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, this was 84 days into his tenure as chair. Gale did not explicitly deny or admit to owning the book, but he described himself as a passionate historian with a broad collection of artifacts, including letters from George Washington and Winston Churchill. Okay. So Gale suggested the controversy was politically motivated. Of course it was. A vocal minority opposed to his governance reform agenda, which included contentious push for municipal amalgamation. And the Ontario government has accepted Gale's resignation and is currently reviewing the options regarding leadership, and the seat will remain vacant until filled. Of course, they look for a successor. Now, here's the interesting part from the mouths of the people that were that know this situation. We're seeing it firsthand. No apology offered.
Oh.
Simply a matter-of-fact resignation, and that's it. He's like, okay, I resign, but no apology, claiming he's simply a historian. Now, this is an interesting topic of discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Do you own something and just kind of double down on it? That's some kind of hate-filled piece of history, or do you just do you see this as something you shouldn't own, or something that is just part of our history? I don't know. Where's the line?
Right. Well, that's a good question because, I mean,
and before you answer, I'm going to add one more little story.
Okay.
Famous Portage la Prairie person, George Hill, famous for being involved in municipal politics,
Mm-hmm.
opening Hill's Drugstore, co-running the Hill's Drugstore. He was a sportsman who played ice hockey, baseball, and golf and traveled the world. And later in life, he recollected that during one of his games abroad, he had his passport personally signed by Adolf Hitler.
Wow.
So there you go. Don't know if it's authenticated. He's
Right.
telling the story. I know he was quite the individual.
Yeah.
Famous for, lots of things around Portage. He had quite the house over on the island that was later owned by Mr. Pleckety.
Yep.
And there's all kinds of stories that we've talked about with, bunkers and stuff underneath that house. Lots of artifacts from Mr. Hill's collection have surfaced over the years. I have not personally heard the story of this, but when I did a deep dive into it, this coincidentally popped up.
Oh. Well, I mean, it's a signed version of Mein Kampf. Like it doesn't get a lot more hate-filled than that, right? However, in June of last year, Councillor Meyer and I went and did a tour of the Canadian War Museum in Ottawa when we were there. And I mean, that museum displays Hitler's car in the museum. So, a piece of history, absolutely. Is it hateful that they display it there? I would say no, because it's a museum and it's a piece of history, right? So that's a tricky one.
It's a tough one.
It is a tough one. And
this is
the fact that it was politically motivated.
I
mean, that's where there's a lot of gray area, right?
Yeah. Here's the other interesting part of this, because there's lots of historic things that you can own. And it's not like you stumble across this. Like, this was not at a local auction that you just happened to attend.
Right.
Right. This was sought out.
Right. You seek that. Exactly.
Yeah. So Who knows what the motivation was, but it doesn't look great.
That's interesting. Do you think this chapter's closed on that guy?
I would say so. I'd
Yeah.
say the political aspirations are have reached their zenith.
Yeah.
He will go no further.
Yeah.
That's my assumption.
Okay. Very interesting.
Yeah.
And to watch it unfold in real time.
Now, as a tie-in, do you want to hear my next little story?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mentioned George Hill.
Yes.
See how this all ties together?
Yes, I see that.
And Mr. Pleckety owning that property?
Yes.
Seeing how we're talking about crazy political stories, I have heard this story numerous times, numerous versions of this, but this is the AI deep dive into it. The little bunny rabbit incident.
Never heard of this.
You've never heard of this?
No.
I've heard of this lots. And this was during a time when Mr. Pleckety was a city councillor, an alderman, if you will. And this was during the 1980s. It says Pleckety's famously abrasive and old school style culminated in a major public controversy involving a female council colleague. During a heated council debate, Pleckety reportedly addressed the female councillor as his little bunny rabbit. However, what I heard was he said it in French. So, mon petit lapin, or something along those lines. Yes, I do speak a tiny bit of French, but the comment was immediately condemned as sexist and demeaning. At the time, the council was already struggling with Pleckety's, well, it goes on here, but frequent disruptions and his vocal hate affair with the city's administrative process.
Yes, that's no secret.
Following the incident, the council took the rare step of formally seeking his removal or suspension, while his later obituaries sanitize his departure as part of his colorful and outspoken nature. Local accounts from that era confirm that his specific remark was the catalyst for a formal disciplinary action.
Okay.
That's that.
Wow.
Now, I had heard that story lots, but it did not prevent him from running several times in the future. However, there was a meaningful
including
break.
in 2022.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
And the tie-in was he was the last owner. Well, he was one of the previous to last. The gentleman he left it to is the current owner, but he lived in George Hill's house for a significant period of time.
You did tie that all in together. Hey?
Yeah. See that?
Wow. Okay.
What you got?
What do I have?
It's a tough act to follow. Well, I know.
It's not my intention to speak about other municipalities in a negative light or other individuals,
okay.
But the corrupt mayor of Laval, Quebec. Have you heard that story?
I have not.
Okay, so Gilles Vaillancourt, who had served as mayor for 23 years, so from 1989 to 2012, known as the King of Laval or the Monarch, was at the center of a massive corruption, collusion, and fraud scheme involving the city's construction industry and the awarding of public contracts between 96 and 2010. So, I mean, he's not the first, and he probably won't be the last. You hear these stories way more often than we should, at least accusations of. But what he was convicted of in this particular case in December of 2016, he pled guilty and was convicted of the following charges: fraud over $5,000, breach of trust, conspiracy to commit fraud, and gangsterism, which I didn't even know was an actual crime on the books. But he was sentenced to 6 years in prison, but the charges of gangsterism were dropped as part of the plea deal. So what he was doing, he admitted to knowing about overseeing a system where construction contractors paid kickbacks in exchange for municipal contracts, which were often prearranged before the tenders went public. He admitted to transferring millions of dollars from these illegal activities into Swiss bank accounts. And as part of the plea deal, he agreed to repay the city roughly $8 million, including $7 million of it that came from the Swiss bank account, and over $1 million in other assets, including his condo. And he also forfeited his municipal pension.
Oh, you think?
Municipal pension.
Wow.
Okay.
Ooh, municipal. That must be nice.
So he was arrested in May 2013, along with 36 other people who were involved. And he was granted full parole in December of 2018 after serving about 1/3 of his sentence, with the parole board noting his good behavior in prison. Although they mentioned throughout his time in prison, he continued to minimalize his role in the scandal. Now, following the scandal, the city of Laval worked to recoup over $60 million in lost funds that they lost to corruption during his time in power. And according to a report by Radio Canada, the the Canada Revenue Agency wants Laval to pay $1 million to bail in court so he can pay the taxes on the stolen money. So,
What?
Radio Canada says the agency is seeking to collect a 14% tax on a sum of roughly $7 million. The report states that the agency first attempted to collect the money from Valencourt, but his lawyers argue that it should come from the city since he returned the stolen funds.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So, and as recently as a week ago, the current mayor of Laval is calling on Ottawa to intervene on this. And in a quote I found on CTV News, the current mayor of Laval, Stephen Boyer, said that the federal government is trying to tax the victim. Like if someone steals your wallet on the street and then the police bring it back to you, now you have to pay the tax on the money that was stolen from you in the first place, even though it was your money. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out with the CRA. But 23 years in office and over $60 million, which is a lot of money.
So if he paid back 7, where's the rest?
Right. Well, he paid back 7, but they were able to recoup 60.
Oh, they were okay.
So I'm assuming it's from the construction company, a combination of the people. I really don't know, to be honest.
I'd be willing to place a small wager that there's somewhere, and this is never going to be proven, that he's got something squirreled away somewhere. Yeah, a secondary Swiss bank account, maybe.
Yeah, so that is interesting. I came across that story and thought, I mean, you hear about it often enough.
Yeah,
unfortunately, but that many years and that many millions of dollars was pretty polarizing.
That's crazy.
But here's another one that you'll probably remember. I think it kind of came to light or was much talked about during the COVID years, is the Edmonton 15-minute city conspiracy. So you've heard about 15-minute cities.
Yep.
And what the intention of them are. And then, so this goes on to say what the conspiracy behind it is. So Edmonton 15-minute city conspiracy alleges that urban planning aimed at creating walkable neighborhoods is actually a climate lockdown plot by authorities to confine residents to their district, monitor their carbon footprints, and restrict personal freedoms. So these theories have spurred local protest against Edmonton city planning, despite the city's focus on creating more connected and sustainable communities. So the climate lockdown fear, protesters believe that the 15-minute neighborhoods are a pretext for restricting travel outside of one zone. There was a lot of misinformation on this movement because claims were made that residents will be limited as to how far they can travel from their homes and monitored, which are, I mean, you and I know are not part of the planning district in Edmonton's intention of these 15-minute cities. Some believe that this is a globalist agenda to control populations rather than a local initiative to improve convenience. And the city of Edmonton is implementing new zoning, such as neighborhood mixed-use zones, to encourage local amenities, which are interpreted by critics as localized living. The actual concept aims to create neighborhoods where daily needs are met within a 15-minute walk or bike ride, improving accessibility to services. So we heard about this in Winnipeg. You hear about this in a lot of major cities. 15, I do not believe. I do believe some conspiracy theories. This is one that I do not believe. How major cities are trying to lock you into a 15-minute perimeter from your home.
Yeah, no, I don't believe this for a second. But I don't know, man. Alberta's a little bit weird lately. It's a little bit weird. There's a lot of things coming out of there. They're talking lots of different things. There's lots of stuff going on. The province is polarized, and
Yeah, it is.
yeah, now they're talking about separatism.
That's right. And that is why I like municipal politics and being in and a part of municipal politics, because we are not a part of a party system.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the party system does nothing but create division.
It's very flawed.
It's very, very flawed. Like in our council, we are 6 individuals as councillors and a mayor who bring our own insight, our own opinions, and our own values to make decisions on things. We do not have to vote by what our party tells us to vote like, because we are not members of a party. And think of on a provincial level or on a federal level what that might look like if everyone voted as an individual on things that affect everyone in this country.
That would be wild. It would be hard to predict. And you're seeing this right now unfold in front of us in real time at the federal level, where it's not about how people are going to vote. It's about getting the majority, because the party agenda will be pushed forward simply by having that majority.
For sure.
And that's a crazy notion to me, because there is no way that every person that has been elected to office is going to agree one way or another all of the time. It is nuts to me, but
no,
that's the way it is.
There is never a motion put forward by the Conservatives that every elected member of the Conservative Party agrees with. Same with the Liberals. Yes. Anything put on the floor by the Liberals, there's no way that every single member agrees with it, unless it is something very, very cut and dry. But it's just, if you had secret ballots for voting, I think it would look very different.
It sure would.
Right.
And now we're seeing this. This might be a topic for another day, but this whole issue with floor crossing is bizarre to me. Like, if the point gets made over and over again that somebody voted for you in that party. Now, they may have had a combination decision here where they like you, but they also like that party. They may have just voted for that party.
Right.
So those people will feel very betrayed because they voted a certain way based on your party values.
Yep.
And now you have jumped.
And I mean, on the other side of that coin, just to be fair, they may have voted for you as the individual.
Correct.
And not the party as well. But yeah, we have seen a number of Conservatives cross the floor to the Liberals, and recently, just last week, we saw a member of the federal NDP party cross over to the Liberals, which puts the Liberals very, very close to that majority government.
Well, they have 3 by-elections happening right away, and they need 2 more seats to become a majority.
So it could tip the scale.
Yeah. So the chances are it will be a Liberal majority very shortly.
Yeah. So interesting, but we should get into that one day, because
we should.
I love talking about it. And I have my views, and I mean, maybe this is not the right place to share them, but
there's so many that are even on that subject of Alberta separatism. Like, there's so many dynamics in play here. Like, right from one of them is First Nation communities. What happens to all of them when the treaties are no longer in effect because you've separated from Canada?
Right.
That's the issue that's being debated right now.
And we saw Quebec do this, held a referendum, it was many years ago now, and came very close to separating.
Yeah.
And the separatist parties, both provincially and federally, are still very much active.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The federal party in Quebec holds the majority of the seats in Quebec. So, which is strange to me, how you can have a federal party with only representatives in one province. But that's neither here nor there. That's for another day.
It is for another day.
flood system.
Yeah. Well, I think we should put a bow on this one because
Okay.
we've said lots of fun things for people to digest
Yeah,
and
we
talk
have.
about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what are we talking about next week? We never discussed it.
We didn't discuss it. We do not know.
We'll have to figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yes. Okay. Well, until next time, thanks for joining us and keep it real.